Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I like that, Rob. I like that. Did you do that on your own? That's a good one. All right, Blue. That's a good one. I like it. I like it. I like it. This show, 1 to 2 every Saturday starting today, Inside Georgia Real Estate. And this young lady you're going to be hearing from for the rest of the year and into the years to come. Her name is Deborah Gordon. She is the broker at Hyro Realty.
Shelley, let's get started straight. It's Deborah Morton.
What did I say?
Like the salt.
Oh, did I say Gordon? Oh, I meant to say Morton. I'm sorry. I said Gordon.
Okay, we're
I don't
off
know
to
where
a
I've been
fine-
getting Gordon from. Deborah Morton. Sorry.
We're good. Hyro Real Estate, yes.
And you've done millions of dollars in sales over the years and helped over 500 families. So you are an expert.
Well, yes. And I love real estate and I love helping people. And that's why we're here.
Why do you love real estate so much?
Because there's nothing more significant in someone's life than homeownership. It can fundamentally change a family's legacy of wealth. So net worth growth, home. It's where people raise their kids and spend their holidays and ride their bikes and barbecue and all the things. And home matters. And it can be complicated. And I think it's important that we break it down and make it easy and understandable for people to know how to buy and sell a house successfully and invest in real estate.
Now, invest in real estate meaning invest in my first home or invest in real estate after I've gotten my first home. Maybe I buy rental property. We're going to talk about all of that over the coming time.
Yes,
those things.
All the things matter because at different stages of life, people have different needs. And, whether you're a first-time buyer or you've been in your home for over 20 years, there's different challenges that come with different stages of life.
And you can help them with all of that. When you say you want to help people with this process, right? Because I've heard this said before, and you correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the most substantial investment people will make in their lives?
For most people, yes, absolutely. Plus, it has been the vehicle. That's what part of what makes America great is homeownership. Unlike other countries, homeownership is normal and anybody can buy a home. And it is the single biggest vehicle that lifts families out of poverty is homeownership. And that's super important to me and why I'm here today.
404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK. Those are the numbers, those are the numbers to call in and ask Deborah Morton your question. She's from Hyro Real Estate. So let's start off with the big news. Sandra Parrish talked about it a little bit earlier in her news broadcast. I'm going to read the headline. This is from CBS News earlier today. National Association of Realtors to cut commissions to settle lawsuits. Here's the financial impact. We don't have to go to their story, but let's start off with that. What
I would
is
like
this?
to start
Yeah,
there
what is this?
Because the headlines that are in the news are incredibly misleading. In Georgia, everything has always been negotiable. In fact, this lawsuit, it has a huge impact across the country. In Georgia, we are better situated than many states across the nation. I personally can't speak to what's going on in California or Connecticut or any of the places where clearly people were not doing business correctly. What I can speak to is what we do here in Georgia and why a headline like that, it's scare tactics. It is going to make people question their agents, the real estate industry, and everything. And I tell you, Shelley, there are great agents in this industry who are working hard every day to make sure that people buy and sell real estate legally, correctly, with ethics. And I'm really passionate about that. That's why I'm here.
So tell us about the lawsuit. Where did this come from? Why is it here? What impact? Why is today such a big day, August 17th?
Right,
let's start there, and then we'll take calls.
So August 17th was the D-Day. It was the deadline for changes to be implemented.
D-Day, I get it, deadline.
So it's a really big deal because how things are handled contractually and with our MLSs, the multiple listing services where homes are advertised, there are some big changes that have been required because of the lawsuit. The consequences of this lawsuit are bringing about these changes. The biggest thing is compensation.
But what was the lawsuit about? What was the lawsuit about?
Commission. Really,
Okay.
That's the thing. I don't want to get into a situation. I'm not an attorney. What I understand is there's a lot of confusion, and it ended up in court to be settled about how commissions are paid. And there was a sense that, I guess, in other states that commissions were not negotiable. So they have decoupled commissions from being posted on MLSs. There's a lot to it. And on our website, Inside Georgia Real Estate, we have links to explanations from the National Association of Realtors. So somebody who wants to dig deep into the lawsuit,
Gotcha.
I don't want to pretend to be a lawyer.
Gotcha.
I'm not.
Understood.
I can tell you how it impacts buyers and sellers.
Okay.
That's more important,
Gotcha.
I think.
Yep. Go ahead.
So what's going to happen is our contracts have changed. And I'll give you one. I'm going to detour a minute. In other states, apparently clients were represented, customers were represented without contractual obligations, and they were not informed of the fees and true costs of buying and selling homes.
Gotcha.
And in Georgia, we have always had those conversations and done that. Now, did everybody do it perfectly? Probably not. I can only speak to us and the agents that I know who are honest and ethical. It's always been standard for us to talk about who pays for what and how much. That's the key. And I think if we start with the premise that every buyer and seller deserves to know what the true cost is in buying and selling real estate, we're good.
So here in Georgia, you said it's always been negotiable. What do you mean by that?
So there's never been a set fee that a seller has to pay to sell their house, or that a buyer, it's never been free for a buyer to hire an agent and expect somebody else to pay the fee. Those fees and those amounts of money have always been factored into the sale price of the house.
So it comes out of the sale price. House is $100,000. You've negotiated 6%. That 6% comes out at $100,000.
Right. Who pays it, how it's paid. It's always been negotiable. Now, it may be that there was kind of a customary way of doing it for convenience. And all of this was published on the MLS system, so it was visible. That's no longer the case. The MLSs have removed, as a member of the National Association of Realtors, that was part of the consequences of the lawsuit, is now the MLSs cannot publish how compensation is being paid because it's negotiable. There's no set or standard way of doing it.
Now, how does this impact the consumer, whether they're a seller or buyer? What impact will this, starting today, have on those? Let's start with the seller first.
If they read these headlines, sellers are going to think, if they listen to what's in the national media, the scare tactics, sellers might think that, I don't have to pay anything to sell my house. Well, guess what, Shelley? You could always sell your house on your own. You don't have to have an agent to sell your house or to buy a house. But how do you want that process to go? How much skill? I mean, you can also represent yourself in court. You don't need a lawyer. You don't need a CPA to file your taxes. Using an agent who's experienced and effective to step you through the process makes sense. The good agents don't work for free. And we're not going to.
What makes a good agent? What makes it, when you say the good agents, what makes an agent good versus one that's not so good? Or what should a consumer look for to see if an agent is good? That's a better way to ask the question.
This is going to be like an every week conversation because I'm most passionate about it. A good agent is someone who is skilled and experienced and trained and up to date. Like, I know the forms to use. I know the contracts to use. I can teach and I can tell you. If you have a house to sell and you want to buy another house, but you need the proceeds out of one house to buy the other, there are steps and contractual obligations that come with how we put all this together. Financing, contracts, negotiations, every bit of the thing. An experienced and skilled agent has studied and learned and invested in their education to make sure that they're serving their clients at a very high level. And your needs are not the same as somebody else's needs, and your goals are different than somebody else's goals.
404-872-0750. The new show, it's called Inside Georgia Real Estate with Deborah Morton of Clario Realtors. 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK. Give us a call. She's the expert. She knows everything. So give us a call. Oh, I'm so excited about this show. Real estate. Oh, I've got a personal question when we come back.
Okay.
Because me and the AMAC, the lawyer, we're looking to do some things. So I want to ask you about that. It's the Inside Georgia Real Estate. We'll be right back. Woohoo! It's called Inside Georgia Real Estate with Deborah Morton. See, I'm from New York, so we leave off our T's. Morton, like Morton Salt. And Shelley Winter, host of the Shelley Winter Show, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9. But that's not the important part. The important part is we have an expert on real estate. So the website that you can go to, InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com, and we have an email. So if you don't get your questions answered or you have questions that come up after the show, it's IGRE, Inside Georgia Real Estate, IGRE at WSBRadio.com. So let's go to the phones. We have calls.
All right.
Phone lines are lighting up, my sister. Let's go to Chip in Woodstock. Go ahead, Chip. Thank you for being the first caller ever to Inside Georgia Real Estate with Deborah Morton.
Sweet. Glad to be here.
Hey, Chip.
Hey, we're getting ready to sell a home, and so we're meeting with a real estate agent. Well, yeah. And she's recommending the 6% commission, and she's saying do not reduce that. She wants us to pay the buyer's broker commission. She's saying if we reduce that and say we're not going to pay any of that, that's going to reduce the amount of traffic that's going to be potentially coming to that house. Can you give us an opinion on that?
Basically, Chip is saying that they're selling a home, right? And so they're selling a home, and the Chip, correct me if I'm wrong, right? You're selling the home, and the agent is telling you to put the full 6% in, because if you don't pay the agent's, the buyer's agent's fee or whatever, you won't get as much traffic. Is that what I heard?
That is correct, Shelley.
Well, you have lots of options. And again, your agent, you got to remember that real estate is hyper-local. So what we do in Woodstock is not necessarily your agent, I'm hoping, is a local neighborhood expert, first of all. They're going to know what kind of demand is going on in the area and what marketing efforts are going to need to be done to drive the most traffic to your property. Now, that'll be different if you're in a condo in Midtown versus a single-family home in Woodstock, or maybe, on some acreage further out in North Cumming. So that being said, the percentages are negotiable, and how they're paid, you have lots of options. Customarily in the past, I'm going to be careful how I word this here, is that the reason he was saying that is because that brokerage fee will go toward marketing efforts and will assist with the buyer agent fee for the agent who's going to bring a buyer to your house. You're not required to do that, but if you choose not to, that fee could be negotiated into the sale price regardless. So depending on how it goes, not offering a compensation to a buyer's agent a buyer's agent wants to get paid, if you don't offer it, it's still likely going to be wrapped into the offer you receive on your home. So
does that make sense, Chip?
Yeah, but the buyer would be paying the buyer's agent, though.
yes.
Right.
And depending on the price point of the home, new buyers often don't have available cash to cover their down payment, their closing costs with their lender, and all the other things. So oftentimes a first-time buyer or any buyer scraping together all the cash they have and rolling that fee for the agent into the sale price of the home might be the difference between them actually being able to purchase a home or not.
Great answer. Deborah Morton knocked it out the
I
park.
hope that helps.
You knocked it out the park. Basically, Chip, do what your agent's telling you to do. It'll be easier to sell your home. 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK. We'll be right back. Inside Georgia Real Estate.
Your business is one of a kind, so your website should be too. With Wix, it's easy. Almost too easy to create a website that's perfectly yours. Just tell AI what kind of site you want to build or choose from thousands of templates. Change whatever you want, whenever you want, and get everything you need to start running your business your way. No matter what you sell or what you aspire to be, you can do it all yourself on Wix.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show's called Inside Georgia Real Estate. You can go to the website InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com. And if you don't get through today, if you get a question during the week, you can email us at IGRE, Inside Georgia Real Estate, IGRE at WSBRadio.com. So, Hyro, what is it, Blue? Hyro from Beaufort called in. He wants to know what kind of restrictions are placed on FHA loans for first-time buyers. In other words, what he wants to know is, can you use a first or FHA loan for a first-time home buyer?
They're great,
to
yeah.
flip or to renovate or flip a home.
So let me start with, I'm not a licensed mortgage lender, so your lender should be the person to answer the specifics of this question. But the purpose of an FHA loan is to help a first-time buyer get their first home purchase as a primary residence. So I don't think that would be an excellent choice for a flip or a renovation because it is designed, the whole purpose of it is to help first-time buyers get into their own home as their primary residence.
Gotcha. That seems kind of scammy as well. Like,
well,
no, it does. No, I'm saying that, not you. But
so
it
there
seems
are hard money lenders to
Right.
help in it with a flip. That might be a better choice to use a hard money lender. You're going to pay higher rates, higher fees, but you're not going to own the property very long. So the cost of it might make sense.
And C.R. Nesby, he wanted to know what specific rights are conferred by real estate ownership that might seem unintuitive to the average consumer. Like, what specific rights are conferred by real estate ownership?
Well, under all, it's the land, and ownership of land is, again, I'm going to go back to as a patriotic American, it is one of the things that separates our country from others is that everybody has the right to purchase and own land. And versus, I mean, I don't know how to answer that specifically because I'm not sure what his point was, other than if you're renting, you are paying the mortgage for somebody else to own the land. If you own your own land, you might have to borrow, and technically the mortgage company owns the property until it's paid off.
Right.
But at the end, as long as you adhere to the terms of your mortgage agreement, it is yours and you have ownership rights, which means once you have equity in your home, you have an asset to borrow against. And when you sell it, the appreciation over time gives you net worth. That equity can be parlayed into other investments, and that's how you grow.
Is it, I've heard, like, people buying subdivisions now, right? Mm-hmm. When you buy in a subdivision, do you automatically own the land under your home as well as the home, or is that something you have to pay attention to in your contract?
So That's a great question because there is a big difference between single family homes and, let's say, condo ownership. When you're buying a condo, it's a different purchase than single family home. But in a subdivision specifically, unless part of the contract, the purchase offer, and this is where your agent will guide you correctly in what your purchase is. But I'm going to say in most of the metro Atlanta area, the subdivisions are you're purchasing the land and the home that is built upon the land.
Gotcha. Let's go to Richard in Morrow. Go ahead, Richard.
Miss Deborah, thank you, Miss Deborah Morton.
Hi.
And I can say that, Shelley, because I've been listening to you since Word on the Street, so I can talk a little bit. But
yes, sir.
She is preaching right now.
But you can't flirt. You can't flirt with her, Richard. No flirting with Deborah, okay?
No, I'm calling about my girlfriend.
Okay.
To be wife, so no flirting at all. Just want to make sure I understood why she got it right because it's that important.
Right.
But I'm calling, and she's preaching right now to specifically what I'm talking about. So it's crazy. The fact that yes, homeownership in America is one of the biggest vehicles to getting out of poverty, and it's something that's specifically unique to American democracy. Right now, I'm trying to explain that to my longtime girlfriend that I was just talking about because she's been paying $520 in rent. And I'm trying to explain, hey, your sister did it. She bought houses and kept selling them and made money off of them. But to do it right, and she's been on her job 17 years with a multinational global listing company, makes low six figures, but hundreds.
Richard, are we on speaker? Can you take us off speaker because we're dropping in and out?
Oh, no. Yeah.
Sounds like she's a good candidate for homeownership.
Well,
Is that better?
Yeah, that's much better. Now get right to the question, Richard.
Is the FHA the best way to go if you have mid-level credit and been on your job the 18 years you need? I know you're not a mortgage lender, but what are the selling points to convincing somebody buy a home instead of renting?
Thank you, Richard.
That's I'm a huge fan of the FHA loan program for helping people just like her get in. The credit requirements are a little bit more lenient than conventional. And even though there are some cons to it where you're going to have over the cost of the loan, there's some costs that are rolled into the loan. But if the difference is...
So the government, it's a FHA loan, right, is a loan given by the government. Mm-hmm. Why would it be more costly?
There's just costs built into it. I think the primary difference is on an FHA loan, after you have more than 80, once you have equity in it, you could let your mortgage premium insurance drop off. With a conventional, with an FHA, you're going to pay insurance on that mortgage over the life of the loan.
Gotcha.
That's just part of it. But what it does do is it allows people with lower credit.
Right.
Not perfect. Nobody has perfect credit, and that doesn't matter as much. But the parameters are looser, and it's for most people using an FHA loan are lower upfront costs. Over the life of the loan, how many people stay in a house 30 years?
Right.
If you're in the house, 5 to 10 years, which is the average for most people, it's an excellent tool to get into a home. I heartily recommend it. And if you want to send a message on the website, I'll gladly connect you with a great lender who can have a conversation with her and just break it down into manageable chunks.
Go to InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com or you can email Deborah Morton of Clario Realty, IGRE@WSBRadio.com. Let's now go to Darwin. Darwin and Marietta. Hey, Darwin.
Hey, Shelly, how are you, man?
Wonderful.
Hey, great show, man. Good information. Thank you, Deborah. And your crew is magnificent. The guy who answered the phone is very, very smart. Thank you.
Thanks, Blue.
The question that I had, we're renting with interest in buying the home, and the property management company that we're renting from told us, and it's in the lease, that if they are going to sell the home or put it on the market, they'll let us know because we should get first dibs. I think we've been living there for a year now. Mm-hmm. But they did they put it on the market without letting us know. And then, they're kind of forcing to sign another lease with a lot of things not being done. I was just wondering, what could we do at this point? Is there anything that we could do?
Are you still interested in buying the home?
Still interested, yes, because we've actually increased the property value just, doing
And the things that you did. Okay.
Right.
Go ahead, Deborah.
The terms of your lease are critical in this situation because within your lease agreement, the terms are all laid out with what the landlord is required to do and not required to do. What you're describing here warrants a deeper look with a legal eye. If you want me to take a look at your lease, I can. I'm happy to help, but I would need more details. And again, every lease is written differently. Any landlord can write any lease they want, and once you sign it, it sticks.
Right.
So the law is the law, and the lease terms are the lease terms. And if you're interested in buying, I don't know why they would. And if they want to sell, our job is to help buyers buy and sellers sell and facilitate a smooth transaction for that to happen.
Right. And this is a huge, not to cut you off, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, tell me more.
This is a huge property management company with myriad problems and different issues that they haven't resolved as we've been living in the house and actually repairing the things ourselves and not being reimbursed as well. So, it's kind of a precarious situation. But I do thank you for...
Go ahead, Darwin. I was going to say, send your email with everything explained to the letter G, R-E at WSBradio.com, and send an email to Deborah directly. Try and put as much information in there as you can so she can get you some help, okay?
Yeah. And
no problem.
Yeah, I'll gladly connect you with, if I don't have the answers, I'll connect you with the right person who can help you. I would say that one of the things that I hear most often from people are problems with property management companies and landlords.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Darwin. When you say so those are people that are renting, right? Because if you have a property manager, you're renting. And so when you have a problem with a property manager, should you go? Because most of us, when we get a lease, we think it's standard. This, that, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But you just made a great point. You said all leases are different. What are something, when we come back, we'll take a couple more calls, but when we come back, I want you to answer this question. What are some of the things people should look for when they're renting, right?
Yes.
In their lease, because they're going to want to buy one day based on the importance of owning.
And it's legally binding document. They need to know it.
All right. So what are some things we should look for in a lease as a renter? We'll be right back. It's called Inside Georgia Real Estate with Deborah Morton, like the salt. We'll be right back. It's called Inside Georgia Real Estate. That's the name of the show with Deborah Morton. The website is InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com. You can email her at igre@WSBradio.com. So let's go to Floyd in Stockbridge. Floyd has a house under contract. Floyd, explain your question.
Okay. How y'all doing today?
Hey.
Good.
Okay. I found a house down in Flowvilla, 180. So I've got a realtor, and I got it. I got approved and everything for $250 to the mortgage company, and it's a conventional loan at 6.65%. Okay. Anyway, the lady has 180 and has a concession for $30,000 on it for some repairs that need to be done.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've done, I offered $200 under the contract for $200. That way, and then she agreed to pay the closing costs and write me a check for the concession.
Oh, there you go. That can't happen.
Huh?
That can't happen.
Go ahead, explain why.
There's no checks written back
Well,
at closing.
I'm not her. I'm just saying what it is it was for $200, and that way she'd get her full 180 plus the 30 or whatever.
Right, but is she writing you a check?
Well, no, she's not writing me a check. It's through the mortgage company.
Yeah,
Because
no.
that's,
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah,
That's
no.
okay. So hold on, Floyd. Go ahead. Go ahead, Deborah. No, tell Floyd.
No, it's super straightforward. When you have a deal, like, there are limits to the amount of concessions a seller can credit a buyer back at closing. And these are pretty straightforward and easy to understand rules. If you're putting down 20% down on your mortgage, there is a certain percentage of concessions the seller. If you're putting 10% down, it's less. So these, for a conforming loan, which a conventional loan is, the rules are pretty simple. I would suggest you call your mortgage broker, your lender, and
Right.
give them the real deal. Whatever's going on here with this seller, these terms are not legit or okay. And I hate it for you, but what you're trying to do, I've seen people try to do, and it just doesn't work with regular conventional financing.
See, that's what I don't know. I don't understand. I mean, because I had approved, all this was approved. through
Right.
The mortgage company,
But it wasn't
I got a contract for it.
right. What Floyd? Correct me if I'm wrong. It wasn't approved. It wasn't approved before the seller and he got into their own separate deal.
So that often happens is your initial offer, after inspection, things come up. The seller has to make some concessions. You agree to these things, but it doesn't fly with the mortgage company. And at the end of the day, if you want to buy the house, you have to play by their rules.
Deborah, Morton, how can people find you? We know InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com, name of the company, all that stuff, and your first day reaction real quick.
Oh my God, this was so much fun. Thank you all for calling in and listening, and we will be back here next Saturday at 1 p.m. Send your questions in advance, and we'll be prepared and ready to have some fun and talk about real estate.
IGRE at WSBRadio.com, InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com. Have a great weekend. God bless you all.
I don't know about you, but when I'm using AI for my business, I don't need it to tell me what to do. I know what I want. I just need help making it happen. With Wix, I finally have an AI tool that gets things done the way I want. I just have to describe the type of website I need, and it's ready. I can even ask it to manage my inventory, plan my next marketing campaign, or help out my customers. Wix gives me AI wherever I need it. Try it out at Wix.com.